did make a difference as far
I
as
don't
their.
think we softened the target, we actually blew it off.
You have had the distinction of being the first pilot who has dropped the first laser guided bomb, and that was during the Operation Safed Sagar or Kargil War. So, understandably, the LGB hasn't come along as a natural fitment along with the Mirages. So, was there some kind of a modification carried out, some test flying carried out before that?
Uh, the Mirage had its own LGB. This was a very highly capable and very powerful LGB, which was a 1000 kg weight.
I see.
It already came equipped with that. However,
Okay,
the laser designator pod, the original fit on the aircraft, which was a French equipment, was only capable of day operations.
I see.
Keeping in mind future combat, the Indian Air Force had decided to induct a day and night capable pod, which was manufactured in Israel. This contract had been signed way back in 1997. So when the war broke out in 1999, May, June, in that time period, this pod, the new Israeli pod, had not yet been inducted.
I see.
Moreover, the French bombs were, as I explained before, expensive and very highly capable, and therefore designated specifically for targets in enemy territory, which were unique and very capable. Bridges, dams, and such like, which were strategic targets, so to speak.
Right.
Therefore, to use the expensive and highly capable bombs in Kargil was probably not called for. It would be like, striking a walnut with a sledgehammer, so to speak. So
I see.
therefore, we decided to use lower capability laser guided bombs, which we had procured but had not yet been qualified. So when the war broke out, we did not have a day and night pod, and we did not have a bomb which had been tested
I see.
properly. I mean, this sort of procedures normally take about a year and is done under very controlled conditions in the laboratory. So we were now forced to induct these two capabilities rapidly because we required it in that sort of scenario in Kargil. Fortunately for us, at that point in time, our squadron, that is, we were in 7th Squadron once again. I personally was not posted to 7th Squadron, I was out of it. And similarly, two other test pilots who were out of it were inducted into the war zone and in the squadron. And therefore, we had a core team of 3 test pilots who were fully capable of exploiting the new configuration which had not yet been released to service for the other squadron pilots to employ. So that's where the challenge lay, and that's how we were sort of uniquely selected to drop the LGB and operate it in that at that point in time. So it's just that the capabilities existed in the aircraft, but had been modified significantly just about a few months before this whole battle started, and thus it came upon us and upon me specifically to drop the LGB. And it was done on the 24th of June, which is just round the corner, 22 years ago.
Yeah. So I think, and all of us know it, now there's history that this particular thing, the drop of the first LGB, changed the course of the war.
Uh, that's not how we perceived it at that point in time when we were fighting the war.
Yes.
Historians and aviation experts today talk about changing the war and how it changed the war. But at that point in time, we were fighting in a conflict zone where we did not have to think about whether we would change the war or not. What we were very focused upon was making sure that the bomb went correctly to the right place and exploded. And to our elation and happiness and joy, when that happened, we were very satisfied and we felt thrilled that we achieved what exactly we set out to do.
And I think that helped greatly. It helped the army, probably the softening of the target did make a difference as far
I
as
don't think
their.
we softened the target, we actually blew it off.
Okay.
We had a bunch of about 10 enemy Arctic tents
I
perched
see.
right on the tip of Tiger Hill.
Hmm.
And Tiger Hill, as you are aware, was a point from which the intruders who were sitting on top had a direct view of National Highway 1A, which ran from Srinagar to Leh. And because of the ability to see what was happening on that road, they could direct enemy artillery fire from across the border, across the LOC that is,
I see.
at our vehicles which were moving on that road. And thus they had effectively closed that road from operations by day. So hitting them resulted in the entire ability to see the road collapse. I mean, they were no longer in position now to see the road properly. And therefore, our flow of material and manpower to Leh and to the other parts of the battlefield at that point in time continued unhampered.
So I think, yes, of course, like you said, at that point of time, perhaps it was not known that it's going to be so effective. But today, when we look back, yes, it definitely was a turning point as far as the Kargil conflict was concerned.